here. I'm having a small amount of technical issues tonight, so I do apologize for that. But it will get better. I ran into some computer-related problems, and I had to do a mad scramble to fix those. Do me a favor, if you guys can hear my voice, just type a Y or a yes into the chat window. That would be great. That way I know that stuff is already... that way I know that stuff is working. That would be awesome. Like I said, just let me know in the chat if you can hear my voice. Hopefully you can. It looks like everything is working on my side, so I'm kind of hoping that it is. Let's see. I'm not getting any feedback yet. Nobody's telling. Okay, John says he can hear. That's good. But those of you in attendance, I really need to make sure you guys can hear me. You find that. All right, let's try this again. If you guys can hear my voice, type a yes into the chat window. That would be great. And then, okay, John, you're working over there on YouTube. I had a little bit of a technical issue tonight trying to get this thing started, but I don't see anybody responding on the actual presentation here. John, can you hear me broadcasting at all? I don't see any responses or anything coming through on the okay, but nobody's responding. Nobody is like saying hello, goodbye, anything. So it's working, it seems, on YouTube, but I'm not getting any response in the GoToMeeting thing. If you guys can hear me on GoToMeeting, I really need you to put Y or yes into the chat window because I'm not seeing that it's working. Huh. John, if you open up the question box, can you see anybody responding, or is it just me on my side? This is where I really wish I had somebody to, I guess, the room, it started, right? The presentation has started. I don't understand what's going on here at all.
Ron, can you hear me?
I don't see any. Okay, I do. Audio. I'm working on computer audio. That looks good. John, I got to be honest with you. I don't know what to do.
Can you hear me?
It's broadcasting on YouTube, and that's good, but it's like nobody can hear me or nobody knows what's going on, or I can't see what's going on with GoToMeeting because nobody's responding. Yeah, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, I do apologize for what's going on here. We're having some technical issues with the class, and I'm honestly not sure what is happening here. I don't understand. Let me see here. It looks like everything's working good, but I don't see anything else that is working. And then no, John, yeah, I can't hear you either, but I can probably fix that. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here with what's going on. I got, yeah, yeah. I am going to restart my webinar. I will be back in a second and hopefully that works.
Welcome to the webinar. You have entered as an organizer
Okay, I
and
think I
may now
found the
speak to
problem.
any other organizers or panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start Broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your
All right,
broadcast.
let's
The
try
broadcast is
this.
now starting.
All
All
right, let's
attendees
try
are in
this.
listen-only
Can
mode.
anybody hear my voice here on GoToMeeting? We are having a little bit of technical issues tonight, and I apologize for that. It looks like YouTube's going okay, but my GoToWebinar page is not working really well. If you guys can hear my voice, type a Y or yes into the chat window. That would be great. All right, there we go. Okay, first off, I want to apologize to everybody. A little bit of technical issues there. I'm not sure what happened. It looked like GoToMeeting was actually working, but it looked like it was locking you guys out of the class. I've never seen that happen before. So I relogged in. You guys are all bored with my descriptions here, but I relogged into GoToMeeting and I found out the classroom wasn't started, even though it looked like it was started on my side. So I got to tell you, very, very weird today. So hopefully our presentation doesn't go as weird today. So first and foremost, thank you all for attending. My name is Ron Wheeler. I hope you are excited because this is going to be a great webinar, even though I started about 7 minutes late. It looks like you guys can hear me. That's awesome. Keep that chat window going. I appreciate that because I'm going to ask you guys different questions throughout the class, so I do appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and officially get started because we're already running behind because of that technical glitch we had. I want to welcome all of you to today's webinar. It's called the Options Paycheck. And in today's webinar, I'll be showing you that breakthrough system that we developed here at VectorVest that's going to help us generate monthly income in any type of market. Now, the information I'm going to share with you has changed not only my life and the way that I trade, but I've seen it change the lives of so many people that we've taught this to. So I hope you're excited about it as well. In fact, my promise to you today is simply this. You could begin making a paycheck averaging $3,000 per more or month. This figure is based on the fact that most of our clients are generating on average 3% per month using our most basic income strategies. Now keep in mind, this can be done regardless of market direction. You can do it with little to no prior experience because I'm going to teach you everything. You can do it safer than buying stocks. And here's the kicker. You can make money even if your analysis is incorrect or wrong. Now, I know 3% may sound too good to be true. The truth is, a lot of our clients are doing even better than this. Okay? In today's webinar, I'm going to show you the exact system I use to generate these types of returns. I'm going to share with you case studies and examples of our clients who are actually doing this month in and month out. I'm going to show you our system so that if you learn and follow our strategies, you can do the same. And I'm also going to prove to you that our paycheck system will get better returns safely and safer than simply just trading stocks or options alone. Now, our webinar today is built on results, and not just my results. I've been doing this a long time. I like to think I'm pretty good at it. But the results I've seen with people that I've taught this to, because that's the real thing right there. Can this system be used by everyone? So I'm going to share with you guys like Brian, who turned $6,000 into $23,000 in profits in 10 months. John, who grew his IRA by 112% in 12 months. Bob, 71% ROI in 4 months. Mike, generating over $3,000 per month of income in his first 4 months following the system. I'm going to show you how Bruce grew his account from $100,000 to $497,000 in 3.5 years. And I'll also share with you a number of other client success stories. Now here's an example of the type of trade we're talking about. This is Costco. Costco had a good looking chart. Price was rising. good earnings, everything looked great. Had you bought the stock, though, it stalled and only rose 1.4%. That's not so great. But with our options paycheck system, you don't have to be exactly right on direction. Had you placed one of our paycheck trades, that 1.4% stock move resulted in a 16% gain for you in 12 days. Now, like Frank actually took that trade. That was a trade that we took for real. He learned the paycheck system that you'll learn today, and he posted in our private Facebook group that he made $9.55. Now, imagine having several of these trades on each month. Now, will there be losing trades? Sure. But with the paycheck system, we can average over 70% winning stock trades, and that is what results in a consistent net income. So today, I am going to show you that system that accomplishes that. So if learning how to do that sounds good to you, now would be a great time to turn off all your distractions, close your door, turn off your cell phone, close down other windows. I don't want you to multitask or miss something important. Stay focused and give this your full attention, because you're going to be learning something that can make a huge impact on the rest of your life. Now, there's my face for radio. My name is Ron Wheeler. I've been trading for about 24 years now, a little over 24 years in June. Now, when I first started, like a lot of traders, I had no success at all. The reason why I had no success is because, like a lot of traders, you have to manage a couple things to be successful. Number one, you got to learn direction. How to identify good market direction or stock direction. That's hard enough on its own. But then once you know market direction, then you have to learn the money side. How much to risk? Where should I take profits? Am I over leveraging my account? You got to manage both of those, and you got to be really good at both to be a successful trader. Well, it took me about 2 years, and I had an edge. I started in this industry working as an IT person to an analysis company. So I had someone that had been trading for over 40 years as my mentor who was able to walk me through this. Okay? Now, a big changing point, you could say, in my trading career is when one of our clients at the time visited our office. He was a hedge fund manager from the Midwest, and he was an options trader. He showed me how he and a lot of the other hedge funds used options in their trading. And basically the gist of it is this. When you are a good options trader, options can do a couple things. Number one, we can construct a trade with options to where even if our market direction is wrong, we can still make money. That's huge. Number two, when you do option trades correctly, we analyze the risk and the reward up front, and they are fixed. We know how much profits the trade can pay. We know exactly how much it can go against us, and we can set our portfolio management perfectly right from the start. Okay, that was a big changing period for me when I saw the power of what options can do. So for the first 10 years of my career, 12 years, I traded nothing but commodity futures and equity futures, and I was a day trader. And then the last decade plus, I've really transitioned into an options trader. I trade probably 98% options at this point and only a couple percent of anything else. So that's my journey. I'm going to walk you through a journey as well, and I'm going to walk you through today the key strategic shift that's going to help you generate income safely from the market. You're going to learn to win even if your analysis is wrong. You're going to see the real problem that's been holding you back from winning a lot more than you lose. I'm also going to show you how to do this with very little risk. You're going to learn to avoid the big mistake that most people make and what you need to do to place low-risk trades. In fact, the risk will be much lower than if you simply just bought and sold stocks. And then I'll put it into a bulletproof system that you can use in as little as 15 minutes a day. This is how I and my clients are getting that 3% average monthly goal in as little as 15 minutes a day. Now, over the last decade, I've really fine-tuned the way I sell options. I fine-tuned the options paycheck, and I made it so really anyone can do it. I took out the parts where it was very complicated for people. I substituted parts where it was really easy and made it simple. It's been really fine-tuned over the last decade. So, if that's okay to you, do me a favor. Type a yes in the chat box for me. I just want to make sure that I'm still broadcasting and everything is going well and all that kind of stuff. All right, good. Keith and Jonathan, Umar, Tony, Ziad, Charles and Jesus and Raul and Herbert, and Michael and John and Tristan and Kurt and Joel and Michael and Jeff and Terrence and Raj. All right, good deal. I can't read all your names, but I tried to get a couple of them out there. All right. Why is this ultimately so important? Well, first off, why do we work? If you surveyed 100 people and asked them why they go to work, you might get a bunch of responses like contribution, it gives me a sense of achievement, it gives me purpose. But the overwhelming answer to this question, I guarantee, would be for the paycheck. The paycheck enables us to live, hopefully pretty well today, but then also put enough money away for the future so we won't have to go to work. Now, the hard truth is that without a system to help you generate the income you need, you're stuck trading your time, which is our lives, for money. In other words, without an income system, it's on you, and this creates a number of problems for us. Number one, if we aren't retired, it keeps us stuck in a situation where we have to keep working. We're trading our time, lives, for money. Whether you got a lot of money or no money at all, concerns about finances are one of the leading causes of stress. Worrying about whether we'll have enough or if we're going to run out, that can have a huge impact on your life, your health, even relationships. It's a big cause of divorce. So in other words, we can't stop until we have enough, but we don't really know what enough is. So we keep working just to get enough, and it's like that hamster on the wheel, constantly going. We're taught to work for some future event called retirement, where we can finally stop working so hard and enjoy ourselves. Now, this is my opinion, but working to save enough for retirement on its own is not the full approach. It's not the best way to do it. Because if you're already retired, you might be watching that nest egg get depleted faster than you can fill it. And if things don't improve, you fear you'll have to go back to work to get that paycheck again. Worst case, you'll run out of money, or your standard of living will drop and you can't live the lifestyle you want. Now, with a system in place to generate income, things are a lot different. I believe this is probably the most important point of the webinar, so pay close attention. Write this down if you want. In order to be financially free, our main need is income. And this is why most of us spend the majority of our lives working for that paycheck. However, in order to become financially free, all you need to do is learn to generate enough income from your investments to cover your expenses and lifestyle needs. So I'll say that real quick one more time. In order to become financially free, you need to learn to generate income from your investments to cover your expenses and lifestyle needs. Now, whether you're working like I am or retired, that ability to generate additional income from your investments is really one of the most empowering skill sets you can have. Now, listen, I'm not suggesting take the course, go quit your day job, right? But when you have the ability to generate income from your investments, your life will change. If you're still working, you can increase your earning capacity. It's like having a second job. If you're retired, you can keep producing income as if you still had a job and you still had that paycheck. It's like a tap, right? You can turn it on when you need it. That's going to allow you to do the things that you want to do now, like me, right? I'm still working, and when I retire. And that's why today's webinar is vitally important. When you've got a system to help you generate income, it can help you retire sooner. And when you're retired or working like I am, having that additional income can help you live a wealthier life without depleting your nest egg. And as I said before, this is one of the most important points of the presentation. I'm going to say it right away. When the income from our investments exceeds our living expenses, we become financially free or have the ability to retire. Now, again, in my opinion, learning to generate income is the most important thing to do. It's more important than how much we earn in our jobs. We work to generate income. We can stop it when the income from our investments is enough for us to live. And one of the biggest questions I get is, well, Ron, I'm just starting out. How little can I get started with? Brian's a great example of this. He's a client of ours who really became proficient at drawing an income with a small amount. By using the paycheck system, he was able to generate $23,000 in profits starting with just $6,000. He achieved a 100% winning trade rate in 10 months, 31 for 31 winning trades. And it's not beginner's luck. It's the result of following the system. Okay? That same system that allowed him to do this. Now, the first thing you need to know to take control of your returns is kind of a bit of a strategic mind shift. You're either going to continue being the gambler where you lose more than you win, or you are going to be the house. The house always wins. The paycheck system is built around stacking the odds in your favor. Now, bada boom. How do we stack the odds in our favor? We become an option seller. That is how you are going to tilt the odds into your favor. Now, make a note of this. In order to control your returns and your results, you need to know how to control and stack probability in your favor. The house always wins because it stacks probability overwhelmingly in its favor. They know how you can generally beat the games, and they put the rules in place to prevent you from doing it. We're going to do the same thing, the same concept with markets. Now, the obvious question is how to do it. Well, again, the first step is to shift from being an option buyer to an option seller. So let me dive deeper into this. Bruce is a great example of shifting from gambling on stocks to being in the casino and controlling and stacking that probability. Now, prior to working with us, he had mainly taken stock picks from his brokers. Okay? He focused on our S&P 500 income system. This is our most basic trading system. He said he's not the most technical person in the world, but in the time he's been working with us, he's grown his trading account from 100,000 to over 497,000 in 3.5 years. He said he's achieving a 74% win percentage simply by following the rules of the options Paycheck system. And it takes him around 15 minutes a day. So let me show you how this works. Here's an example of a typical trade you've been taught to make. You find a stock you like, you think it's going to go up, right? So what do? You buy shares, or maybe if you're an option buyer, you buy a call. Why? Because that's the most basic options trade. If you think a stock will go up, you buy a call. If you think a stock will go down, you buy a put. Now, there's lots of other things you can do with options, but that's the basics, right? But what ends up happening a lot of time? Maybe the stock doesn't go up. Maybe it doesn't go up enough, or it goes up after your option expires. It ends up expiring worthless. As an option buyer, for those of you that have done it, has that ever happened to you? Well, it happens to me. It happened to me a lot when I first started looking at options. Now, what's the problem that's really causing that? Most people feel that the problem is maybe they picked the wrong stock, maybe it was just the wrong strike price, or maybe I just didn't use too much expiration. But I want to bring this down to its core. The real problem, if you've been losing money or had more losers than winners with other systems, it's not really your fault. That's because most of the systems on the planet teach you to be on the wrong side of the trade. You're taught to buy an option. But as a buyer, the probabilities are not on your side. And for most people, they end up buying and losing, buying and losing, and buying and losing. Okay? Our Paycheck system teaches you a new way of thinking. You need to be a seller and not a buyer. That's how you get ahead of everyone else. That's how you put probability on your side. That's how you win even when you're wrong. So let's take a closer look at selling options and more specifically the seller's mentality. This is another graph, right? A typical trade. I think whatever stock this is, it's going to go up. Well, if you think that way, statistically, you have a 50-50 chance, right? You buy a stock, it can either go up or it can go down. When you buy, the only way you make money is if the stock moves in your direction. So instead of having a buyer's mentality, we're going to shift that to a seller's mentality. Instead of hoping a stock goes up, as a seller, you're going to strategically set up your trade using probability. Options have probabilities built into them. Probability will tell you where the stock is not likely to go. So instead of needing the stock to go in your direction, you can pick a price like where my arrow is that says basically, as long as the stock doesn't go down to here, I can make money. Now the stock I'm showing you is roughly $204 a share. I pick a price at $195 that the option statistics say has a better than 60% chance of success, right? Now, what I've done is I've put probability in my favor. If the stock goes up, I win. If the stock goes sideways, I still win. As long as the stock stays above 195, I still win. And if the stock drops below 195, you take a small proportional loss. No, make 1,000, lose 10. Okay? A small proportional loss. But instead of just buying the stock at 204 and the only way you can make money is 205, now we've created a situation where up, down, or sideways, we still have room to make money. Now, the beauty of this is, depending on the option market conditions, we actually could create even more probability. We can choose options in certain cases that have a 70% chance of winning. In this case, I'm down to 190, right? As long as the stock stays above 190 for the next 2 or 3 weeks, I can win. And again, if it doesn't and it comes down to 190, I take a small proportional loss. All right? You can only do this type of stuff as an option seller. As a seller, you're putting the probability of success in your favor. And this is the definition of what I call an income trade. One where you can make money even if you're wrong on direction. Now, I want to introduce Mike. Mike was someone who dabbled with options, but he said he lost on each trade. Can you imagine that? Have you been there? How frustrating it must be to lose on each trade. Eventually, he just stopped trading options. He went back to it eventually to learn a little bit more because he didn't want to leave it kind of like unsettled. But he said even after more learning and courses, he never felt comfortable to do it. He said he didn't have any set criteria. So Mike and I worked together. I taught him the options paycheck system, which is a lot of set criteria of being an option seller. And he said he immediately became an income machine. As soon as he learned the system, he immediately went out and said he had 17 out of 19 winning trades. Profit of $12,000 in 4 months. The key of this is simple. Going from buyer, which is the gambler, to seller or the house, that turned his situation around like that. Okay? The system brought him success. He was proud of his success. He sent me a spreadsheet of his trades. Now look at the number of winners in that profit column versus the number of losses. Look at the number of days to close. Remember I told you over the next 2-3 weeks, the average trade that we do lasts about 7 to 10 days. Okay? So he's pulling about $1,000 in every 7 to 10 days. Now, our most basic system, which just trades the S&P 500, has averaged over the last decade 85% winners. You're placing trades that have a high probability of winning. And I want you to think of it like this. Again, I'm going back to that analogy. Instead of being the gambler who loses money, you're going to be the casino where the odds are stacked in your favor on every trade. Now, I'm going to use a bit of a baseball analogy, but I also want you to think of the casino again, right? Home runs. What is a home run in a casino analogy? You walk into a casino, you put $5 in a machine, and you win $1 million. Oh my God, I just hit a home run, right? But that realistically will never happen to you again. And guess what? All those other people that walked in there and didn't win the $1 million, however much it was, they lost. The casino wins because even though they give those big giant jackpots, everything is still stacked in their favor. Some people walk away with a win, but most don't. In the baseball world, I call this home runs look good, but singles are what wins the games. The home run is the sexy thing, right? But the singles, getting on base, getting to first, getting to second, then maybe a home run is great because you already have 3 people on base. You hit a grand slam, right? But getting on base is what creates the runs. Getting on base is what creates big runs. In the world of trading, these income trades are the same concept. I'm not looking to hit a home run. I'm not looking to take a trade where I risk $1,000 and make 20 grand. Those don't happen very often. Those are like, black swans, if you will. I'm looking for those trades where I'm making a small amount of money, risking a small amount, and doing it at a high rate of success. That to me is how this works. Okay? Now, you've seen by simply flipping the buyer to seller, you can stack odds significantly in your favor. I talked about Bruce, I talked about Brian, okay? And I talked about John, all right? Now, how do we do this? Okay? Let's capitalize on gamblers' mistakes to make this better. Mistake number 1 is that option buyers choose unrealistic strikes. Sorry, that was Mike earlier, not John. They choose strikes that are so far away, the stock has no chance of hitting it. Now, if you've never traded in options before, when I say a strike price, that's the price at which you have rights on the option. So if I buy a $250 call, that means I have the right to buy the stock at $250 if I want to. That's at where your stock is controlled at. So here's a stock, for example, right? Let's say you're bullish on this stock. A mistake a lot of option buyers make is they buy calls with strike prices way above the market. It has a little chance of hitting it. Now, they do this because those are cheap options. Instead of paying $1,000 to do this right, they want to pay $50 because they want to hit that home run. That's the lottery mentality. That's a lottery ticket. You're buying an option that may have 1 or 2% chance of success, but you do it because you're seduced by that cheap premium. That's like being a gambler. Now listen, there's always going to be buyers out there who buy those options. You might as well be the one who sells it to them. You're selling an option that has a low probability of getting hit. Now, since it has a low probability of getting hit, that means you have a high probability of winning. And the same goes for puts. There's always going to be buyers out there who buy these puts way below the market. Maybe they think the stock is going to go down. They don't want to spend $2,000 on the proper put, so they buy a put way below the market for $25 with a 1% chance of success at best. Or maybe you own stock. I have 10,000 shares of this stock and I want to make sure that I'm protected in case it goes against me. So what do? They buy puts. Now listen, I don't care why they're doing it. Okay? There's always going to be people out there buying these options. Since they're there, I'm going to be the one to sell it to them. Okay? And when I do, that's what gives me that high probability of success. Now, the second mistake is choosing expirations that are too close. Example, my wife calls me at work, says, honey, I want to have steak for dinner tonight. We don't have steaks. Stop on the way home and get steaks. All right, cool, no problem. I go up to the meat rack. I see 2 ribeyes, $25 a pound, discounted for $12. The discounted ones expire today. I have to go home and cook those tonight. Guess what? My wife wants steak. I take those ones. I go home, cook them, and I just got one heck of a discount on steaks. But if she says, hey, buy some steaks for our parents who are coming over next week, I got to buy those expensive ones to store. Options are very similar. Okay? Options are very similar. Yes, those cheap, close expirations look like they're great deals, but they're going to expire too soon. Here's what you see what happens to the price of an option in relation to the number of days until expiration. I want you to notice over 180 days, it took 135 days, and that's where this area is right about there, okay, to lose 50% of its value. Now, in the last 45 days or so, the price of that option really dropped off. Now, a lot of buyers buy these options with less than 45 days until expiration, and they do it because, again, you can see how the premium is low. They buy those options because they're cheaper. It's like buying a lottery ticket, stacking the probability against you. What we're going to do is we are going to target those options in that final 45 days, not too close to expiration, but 45 days or less to sell. We're going to be selling there because the time decay of that option becomes exponential. Let me explain what I mean here. This is an example. I'm sorry, my mouse is jumping all over the place. My monitors are kind of reversed from where I normally would have them. Let's say that you wanted to buy Home Depot right here. Okay? So you go out there and buy a call. But like a lot of option traders, you're like, I think the stock's going to move in the next couple of weeks. Now, I don't want to go buy an expiration that's too far out. I don't want to spend the money. So you buy an expiration that happens in 2.5 weeks. Or maybe you're being a little generous. Okay, maybe I'll buy one that expires in 45 days. But here's the problem. In that final 45 days, even if you're right as an option buyer, the time decay is slowly eating away at that option premium. As an option seller, that decay works in my favor. Even if my option buyer is right, the decay is eating into the cost of his option, making it better for me. Okay? That's that gambling approach, right? I'm going to be the casino. I'm the one that's going to sit back and take all those, time decay values in. Now, the third mistake that buyers make is they simply just pay too much. They buy what's called overpriced options. So let me show you what I'm talking about. This is an example of 2 stocks, very similar price, right? They're both about $76. But here's the difference. If you look on the left, the option premium is $9 or $900 versus on the right, $1.80 or $180 a contract. Why the big differences? They're both the same expiration. Okay, so one's not like way far out and one's not like, close expiration. The expiration is identical. The strike prices are identical. The option on the left has extremely high volatility. Okay. Now you look at that and you say, well, Ron, who cares? It's $900. I have a $100,000 trading account. I can completely afford that. It's not about affording it. It's not about who cares of the cost. It's about what that cost does to you as a trader. Let's pretend that both stocks go up $8 per share. Okay. It's really simple. If you bought 100 shares of that stock, you just made $800. However, you're using the power of options to get leverage. Oh, leverage you're going to get. On the left, you lost money. The stock went up $8 a share and you lost money. Over on the right, you see the power of leverage. You made 300% return on your investment. What's the difference? The difference was that buyer paid too much because of the high volatility. Now, it's important I point this out because that's the kind of option that we are going to sell. We're going to seek out these very expensive options because the more expensive they are, the lower amount of risk, dollar risk I will have, and the more probability I can bake into the trade. Okay? Think about that. Now, Bob. Bob is one of the most interesting stories I've heard. Prior to working with us, Bob said he was making a bunch of the mistakes we talk about here, and he said it cost him dearly. In fact, he ended up either broke or bankrupt, he said 3 times. And in his own words, came close to living under a bridge. Hopefully he had a van. I'm just kidding. The options paycheck system helped him turn the situation around in as little as 4 months. He learned to turn those liabilities into strategies to control and stack probability. Now again, in 4 months, he grew his account by 71% and had a 79% winning trade percentage. In order to control these returns and results, you've got to learn how to control and stack that probability. Think about it. You've seen now 4 examples of people that, like a switch, were able to turn their trading around just by being an option seller. So let me ask you guys a question. Have you made any of those buyer's mistakes? Do me a favor in the chat window, say, hey, yes, I've made those. And also do me a favor, if you've never traded options, let me know. I'm kind of curious to see what you guys are going to say. All right, I had to mute my microphone for a second. I was grabbing a drink while you guys were doing that. All right, let me take a look here. My mouse is really strange today because, again, I've got my monitor set up. All right, cool beans. Several times, same errors, couple of times, Raul. So I like that. Let's take a look here. I see a bunch of folks, and a couple of you have never traded options before. Now, for those of you who have never traded options before, it's good because you're learning things to avoid. So I like working with new options traders, by the way, because I really feel like I can help them not make those same mistakes that a lot of think. Okay. And then, like Jeff said, of course, who hasn't? Yeah, again, I mean, it's kind of a loaded question because I know even from my own trading, that's exactly what typically happens with new options traders. And again, I've made those mistakes myself, so I'm not sitting here, saying I've never done it either. All right, so let's do this. Let's kind of keep on going here, and let's get to kind of the next step here. I want to teach you how to trade with little risk. Now, you already know, I hope at this point, that you really want to be an option seller to do everything we talked about. Now, when a lot of people hear the word options, and especially the term selling options, they think it's very risky. However, the Paycheck system uses a low-risk strategy for selling options, and this is why, honestly, it's one of our core strategies that we teach our retirees. Now, why is reducing risk so important? Most people who don't use the Paycheck system, they're not preserving their capital. And I have heard this horror story from way too many people. You know, Ron, I tried selling options in the past, but what I found out was, I had 30 winning trades in a row, but then that one loser came in and wiped out 25 winners. Well, that's actually easy to get around. You just don't take trades that would ever do that. You weren't taught a good system of recognizing good trading opportunities. The problem with a situation like that is it makes it very hard to recover losses. When you suffer those big losses, it takes a long time to recover from that. You need to have a built-in protection plan. You're going to have a built-in protection plan to take care of risk before you even open the trade. If you ever spot a trade where you can only make $1,000 but might lose 5,000 or 10,000, you're not going to take that trade. Okay? That's part of the system. You would never take that trade to begin with. Do you know why people take trades like that? They take trades like that because they think they're going to hit the home run. It just never works. When you do this right, you're going to be able to preserve and grow your capital. Okay? Like I said earlier, home runs look good, but those singles are what wins the games. Now, John, one of my most common questions I get is, can I trade options from an IRA? Well, John, another client of mine, grew his IRA, he said over 112% in 1 year using our options paycheck system. He said he had tried, and this sounds familiar, he tried and struggled with trading for some time before working with us. He learned to follow the system, and he turned his inconsistent results into predictable monthly income. He said in 12 months, he enjoyed 85% winning trades and more than doubled the size of his IRA while spending no more than 15 minutes per day on his trading. Now, the options paycheck system makes sure you reduce your risk even before you open the trade. First, we choose stocks that are low risk. We have a very specific criteria, but in general, if we're bullish, we start by focusing on good stocks that are already rising in price, very similar to the graph that you see here. Then, instead of selling naked, we're going to sell with protection. So let me show you how that's done. Traditional option selling models leave you with all the risk down here, okay? A ton of risk when you sell an option. Our paycheck system reduces that risk to this. So let me show you how this works. This is, again, it's a graph of a typical stock we'd be bullish on. It's a beautiful graph, and it's kind of understandable to be bullish on a stock that looks like this, right? Now, traditionally, people would buy the stock here. They may even buy a call and use that as their strike price. But remember, you're not the buyer anymore. You're the seller. You're going to do this. In a bullish market, you are going to sell a put below the current price of the stock. When you do that, you get paid. You receive a premium. In this example, for every contract you sell, you would get paid $200. If you sold 10 contracts, you get paid $2,000, right? That's great. Here's the problem. You have a ton of downside risk. If something crazy happens to that stock in the market, guess what? You're going to be in a situation where you're going to be risking, you might be able to make $200, but you're going to lose 10,000. All right? There's no downside protection. So what we do is we use a built-in protection plan. You're going to buy a put underneath the put that you sold. Okay? Buying that put has reduced your risk to only a few dollars. Now, that protection plan does cost something. To buy that protection, you need to use some, but not all of the money you receive from selling the put. In this example, the insurance cost me $100. Now, that's okay, because we already received $200 from selling the put. So when it's all said and done, I get paid $100 to place this trade. If I did it on 10 contracts, I get paid $1,000. Now, here's the beauty of this, right? If the stock goes up like we think it will, we make money. If the stock goes sideways, if you bought a call and the stock goes sideways, you lose. If you buy the stock and the stock goes sideways, you break even. As long as the stock stays above 135 on average for the next 2 weeks, you will make money. If it goes below 135, we will take a small proportional loss. So let's kind of do this. I want to put you guys into the seller's mentality, okay? I want to show you a couple trades that I did in the past, and I want you guys to think about seller's mentality. Now, this first slide, I want to explain a couple things for you guys first. What I'm looking for here is this. I think that Goldman Sachs is going to go up. Now, this is a trade from earlier this year in February, okay? What I need to do is combine probability and risk management. So what I'm basically saying is this. I want you to pick a price where you don't think Goldman Sachs will go down to. Remember, if I buy the stock, I make money if it goes up. I break even if it goes sideways. But if I pick an option, let's say at $280, now I can make money if the stock goes up, sideways, or down. Now there's a catch here, okay? You have to keep in mind, you can't go too far out. Because listen, I could go down here to $260 and I can sell an option there and maybe make $50. But the problem is I'm risking $1,000 to do it, okay? Now, I could sell an option here and maybe make $1,000, all right? And if I lose, I only might lose 1,000. Now, the problem is you're really not giving any probability and you're 50-50 at best. But what happens is the farther you go down, it starts to change. I might have $1,000 potential profit down here and I have to risk $1,200 to do it. Now that's okay because right here I might have a 50% chance of success on that trade. Down here I might have a 65% chance of success. Okay, so risking more than your profit is acceptable when you have statistics built into the trade. So here's what I want you guys to think of. Using that as an idea, where do you think that Goldman Sachs would be a comfortable place for you to trade? Maybe 305, maybe 295, 280, 275. Now, listen, you're not getting the full picture of how we do this and how we select things, so I don't expect you to get everything perfect, okay? But I want you just to get into the seller's mentality. All right, Ron, I think the stock's going to go up. I know it's not going to go below 295 for the next 2 weeks. That's where I'm going to pick my trade, okay? Just get into that seller's mentality. Now, 280, Keith, you were first. 300, Tony. Sleek, you mentioned 295. John, 275 range. 295 Paul, Herbert 298, Safely 280 Xavier, Chris 295, Tristan 285, 280 Charles, 295 Joel, Satish, and Terrence 270, Glenn, Steve 300, Michael 295, and 305 Raj. And I know there's a couple more coming in, but I want to keep moving. All right, now this is where I placed the trade. This was a real trade, by the way. It's not like a fake trade. I did this trade at 300, 290. Okay, that $300 price gave me the statistical edge that I needed, and it gave me the proper risk to reward. The stock at the time was $311. As long as it stays above $300, I make money. Now, just to show you, this is from Thinkorswim. If any of you guys have ever used Thinkorswim, this is what I trade with. I did that trade on February 16th at $12.35. I got into the trade and I got paid $157 times 3 contracts. I exited the trade on February 24th at 9:30 in the morning and I paid $79 to exit it. That's one of the things you have to get used to in a trade like this. When you enter the trade, you get paid. When you exit the trade, you pay to exit the trade. So I received $157 to get in, I paid $79 to get out, and I get to keep the rest, which results in $390 in about 8 days. All right? Now, here's another example, Tesla. I usually don't trade Tesla, but Tesla in certain times calms down enough for me to want to do it. So when I saw this trade, this is actually from last year. When I saw this trade, it really intrigued me. It was from November of last year. Tesla had just broken above the prior high, and it looked like an interesting one. So I want you to think about this. Tesla's now trading at 525. Well, it's not trading now at 525, but back then it was trading at 525. Getting into that seller's mentality, I want you guys to think of a price that you're comfortable with. Is it 400? Might be, but you have to risk a lot of money to do that with very little reward. Is it 450, 475? And again, the reason I go through this exercise with you is I just want you to understand the scope and kind of the range that we go with here. It's not some crazy range where, you're going to have to risk a ton of money. All right, let's see some of your responses. All right, we got a couple 500s. Joel, 500. Charles, 505. 480 from Herbert. Keith, you're saying 475. 475 also. Tristan and Kurt, you guys are all on the same page. Tony, 460. 500, Raj. 475, Ravindar. Steve, 480. Michael, 500. Xavier 450, 510. Steve, you mentioned support, which is another big thing that we look for a lot of times too. We teach that actually in the course. 490, 575. All right, good deal. Now there's one at 550. Hopefully at 550 you are, maybe you think we're thinking 450. 550, remember, if you were thinking that that's the case, remember, at 550, that means if I think the stock's going to go up, if it goes over 550, I lose money. So you want to be underneath the stock. Now, I did that trade at 485, 480, and I did it with 8 contracts. Now, this trade right here, you can kind of see from the trade statement up here in Thinkorswim, I got into that trade on November 23rd, 2020. I sold and entered at $195 times 8 contracts, okay? I exited the trade on November 25th at 11:17, and I paid $85. I basically made $110. $880 because that 110 is based on 8 contracts. And that only took 2 days. Now, a couple of you guys might ask, well, Ron, how much money do you need to place a trade like that? Well, first off, this trade can realistically be taken if you have an account like $5,000. A $5,000 account could theoretically place that trade. Okay? You could. I wouldn't recommend it because that'd be kind of like if you get stopped out and lose money, you'd probably lose 25% of your account. I teach this in a position sizing class as part of our options paycheck system. I ended up at this point, you would have to have at least a $50,000 account to trade that right there to make $880. But Ron, I don't have $50,000. I only have 25. Not a problem. Don't trade 8, trade 4. But Ron, I only have 10,000. Don't trade 4, maybe trade 2. Okay? You scale the position according to your needs. But Ron, I'm trading with $250,000. Then trade 16. Okay? 16 contracts. Don't worry, I teach all that and show you that when we go forward in the system. Now, another client I worked with is Jim. I hope you guys are seeing a very similar story here. Clients of mine that were unsatisfied and inconsistent implement the paycheck, reliable returns. Jim had 21 winners, no losers, 76% return in 8 months, and his average trade lasts 8 days. He wanted a way to supplement what he was doing that could provide income. I think he found it. Okay? All of this from being an option buyer to an option seller. All right? Now, you've seen the stories of Jim and Bob and Brian and Mike, okay? And think of that. Think of how they were able to turn their trading around. Now, let me ask you a question. Give me some examples. What would you be able to do if you were able to do this type of trading? If you were able to implement that kind of system and you were able to have that success, what would that allow you to do in your life?
Oops, sorry about that. Let me go back to here. Okay, fine. There we go. I had to change my microphone, by the way. That's why there was a little bit of a pause there. Pay off your student loans. Yeah, that's a big one. I feel bad to pay for college education. I was telling the other class I did earlier today that I'm 45 years old. I feel like I'm like kind of, the last generation, if you will, to have actually reasonably priced college. You know what I mean? So, buy a boat, Alan. You're in my favor there. I have to convince my wife to that. Retire, early retirement, Michael Jeffrey, freedom, Satish. More freedom in doing the things I love, Charles. Travel, start your own company, exactly. Multiple trades, financial freedom, Herbert. So like I said, the reason I showed you those folks that have done this before is because they were most likely in everybody's shoes, right? But they were able to turn that switch and make this happen. All right. Now, we said before that buying is gambling and selling is about controlling risk and putting the odds of success in your favor to generate that income. It all goes back to whether you'd rather be the gambler or the casino. Now, keep in mind, the house always wins in the end. Being the seller is how we can do this. Now, let's put this together. I want to show you how you can have a bulletproof system, which you can do this in as little as 15 minutes a day. And this is important because a lot of you still work, like myself. And people ask me, how much time is this going to take? And it's a good question. There's a challenge though. There's thousands of stocks out there, and you've got to know how to find to pick the right stock and the right strategy, and know when to get in and what expiration, all that kind of stuff. What to do if it goes against you, when to get out with profits. And a lot of people think that's like finding a needle in a haystack. There's so much information out there, you don't know where to look. You can spend countless hours researching trades on your own, or go from guru to guru looking for advice. Without a system, you're trading blindly. You're like a mouse running through a maze, bumping into wall after wall. You don't know where to go. It's very stressful and disheartening. With the right system, however, you can get good trades, get reliable income in as little as 15 minutes a day. But to get it, you need a system. And I've been saying that all along. It's a system, not just any system. You need a straight line system. You need a really simple way to know when to place your trades, how to find them, how to set them up, and how to manage them. So let me walk you through the pieces of the options paycheck system. Now listen, nobody else teaches options selling this way because I'm teaching you everything. This is like the secret sauce. There's 6 pieces, the top 5 build on each other, and then the 6th ties them all together. Now at the top of the system is market direction. And a lot of traders ignore this and they just go out and start placing trades. I think this is going to go up, this is going to go down, whatever. You're going to be placing trades that are either bullish, bearish, or neutral in accordance with the overall market direction. Trading with the market direction adds probability. Not just options, trades probability as well. By doing this, you've narrowed your focus. Instead of looking at everything, you're looking for 3 possible scenarios at a time. If the market's going up, I go bullish. If the market's going down, I find bearish trades, etc. Our paycheck system has a timing signal built into it that helps tell us the market's direction. Now, once you have that, we go to our stock finder. You want to find stocks that are highly likely to move in the same direction of the market. Now, this is not just trading stocks you know or reading the IBD or CNBC. That's not the best choice. You want to find stocks already in uptrends when the market's rising, bad stocks that are in downtrends when the market is falling. Now, our option paycheck saves a lot of time in 2 ways. We look at 2 main things, fundamentals and price trend. We have pre-built searches in VectorVest, which we use instead of digging through all that data these institutions throw at you. Now, once you have a list of stocks, you need to find a way to select the best options trading stocks. Earlier, we looked at how big of an effect volatility had on options price. The paycheck system focuses on selling options with volatility in the upper end of the range, but we don't stop there. To take even more risk out of the trade, we filter out those with upcoming earnings, and we make sure the expiration date is in that sweet spot. Now, you can use tools from a broker to help. We use a proprietary search tool which finds these candidates in really just a matter of seconds. Now we set up the trade. We pick the one that has the highest probability of success, using strike prices that give us the best credit, but are far enough away from the stock's price that you have little chance of losing, combined with proper risk to reward. The biggest enemy of an option seller is making $100 and losing $5,000. You would never take a trade that has that setup. And the cool thing is you know it before you do the trade. Now, the next step, you got to know what to do. If the trade goes for you, where do you take profits? If it goes against you, how do you exit? No more deer in the headlights, right? I don't want that. Our paycheck system has rules where to take profits, where to exit the trade with a loss, and also we show you how you can adjust the trades to reduce losses. So if a trade goes against you, I can show you how to produce more income on that and take your loss down by, in some cases, as much as 30%. And every now and then you can turn a loser into a winner. Okay? We also talk about portfolio management, how many contracts you should trade, how much risk you should have, all that stuff that you need to know. And then finally, a tool for speed and efficiency. You want to do this quickly because you don't want to be spending all day doing this stuff. You need a tool that allows you to do these things and should be comfortable using it. Now, some brokers have some fantastic tools. Some paid tools are out there that are very effective. I like to use a proprietary tool here from VectorVest called Options Pro, and that saves me a lot of time putting these trades together. Now, speaking of that, he was another guy that I worked with. He said one of his biggest struggles is he was really wanting to find a system that was efficient, time efficient, and worked. He said he sought the proper balance between trading and free time. He didn't have a proper work-life balance. Are you like that? Too much time on things you don't want to do and not enough time doing things that you want to do? Now that Hugh learned the paycheck system, again, here we go. He has more confidence, more free time. In his first 43 trades, he had 38 winners and returned over $26,000 in 4 months. This is not luck, okay? This is understanding how to use options to your advantage. Now here's what I want you guys to do. I want to take your pen. If you're good at market direction, put a little star next to market direction. I want you to judge yourself and where you need to work. If you have an area where you're not so good at, you know, Ron, I'm just getting started with options, so I have no idea how to do option selection. Put a frowny face there. But maybe you're good at stock finding. Put a smiley face there. I'm willing to bet maybe 1 in 100 investors will ever know how to do this in a systematic approach. Give yourself about 10 seconds. I want to see where you are. So, what areas do you need to work on? All right. I already see that the first one are options. Satish, you mentioned options. That's your goal. So if you're a new options trader, that's fine, but that's good. You've got to learn how to get all stars all across the board. I see trade management quite a few times. Option selection, Michael says. Okay. Stock finding, option selection, Charles. All of them, Herbert says. That's fine. Again, it's not a way to kind of point out your flaws. It's a way to see how you need to overcome them really to do this properly. Repair, Terrence said. Jesus, you mentioned stock finder selection. All of them, I reckon. Well, that's okay, because now you know where you need to focus on. Okay? We need to get it to where you have stars all the way down. And once you do that, you'll be able to generate income every month and do it in less than 15 minutes a day. Now listen, I can't know your exact reason for coming to today's webinar, but I'm going to make a few educated guesses. Maybe you haven't really known what to do, and you feel like you've been trading blindly, bumping from one wall into the next. It's leaving you with inconsistent results. Just like Jim did before he had the options paycheck system. Maybe you've been suffering through loss after loss, and those small losses are killing your portfolio. Maybe the money coming in isn't exceeding the money going out. Maybe you're just not where you want to be. Now today I showed you the secret to fix all that. It's a secret that I bet only 1 in 100 investors will ever know, and now you're one of them. You've seen through multiple examples of my clients how it's possible to win even if you're wrong, and flip that probability. Do it with very little risk, even less risk than buying and selling stocks. You saw the system, that 5-step approach with then finally tools for speed and efficiency, how to get that. Now I showed you just a few of the many people who use this system every day so they never have to worry about retirement. You saw over and over the secret to generating income is to shift by being the gambler to the casino. You're now going to be that one investor out of 100 who knows the secret. That means there's 99 other people out there who will continue to do things wrong. They'll be buying options, making all the mistakes we talked about. Now listen, you can't stop them from doing it. There's always going to be those investors out there. Let them be the gamblers. As long as there will be gamblers out there, we will continue being casinos. The house always wins. The paycheck system teaches you how to stack the probability of success in your favor, just like Brian did, just like Bruce did, just like Bob did, just like Jim did, all going from inconsistent to reliable income. And Hugh, more confidence, more free time, more fun, $26,000 in 4 months. And John, grew his IRA 112% and enjoyed 85% winning trades. So if you're like most people, you're wondering at this point, how do I implement the paycheck system in my portfolio? Well, you have a choice. Option 1, you can do nothing. Stay where you are. If you already have enough to retire, you're not worried about running out of money, then maybe you don't need this paycheck system. But if you'd like to make some extra income every month, that leaves you with 2 other options. Option 2 is you do it alone. You can try to learn how option trades work, direction of the market, analyze the thousands of stocks out there to find the best ones, hope you picked it right, get the option part right. If you're willing to work hard and spend hours in front of your computer and willing to learn by trial and error, you might be able to pull it off. But the third option, what I call the path of least resistance, is to let us show you how to do it. I'll walk you through each piece of the paycheck system, and in just a few weeks, you'll have a simple system to follow that doesn't take a lot of time. So of those 3 options, I want you to ask yourself, what's going to be easier? You know, there's 2 types of people. Person 1 is someone who dreams about their financial goals, but never takes action or does anything to make it happen. That second person is you're serious about your future, you're ready to take action when you see an opportunity. Now, since you're dedicated enough to be with me to this point, I'm willing to bet that I've got a lot of person number 2s in here. that makes you a perfect candidate to get started on your first options paycheck. So let me tell you what we put together for you. First and foremost is our options paycheck course. It is a complete A to Z system designed to teach you how to generate income. This lets you live the lifestyle you want without fear of running out of money. Now again, our clients who take this course, our goal is to make on average of 3% per month. Some guys who are a little bit more active can go a little bit higher, 5 to 15%. With that better than 70% success rate. It's taking them less than an hour a week. How we do it is through these 7 modules. We're going to start by building a strong option foundation. You're going to know exactly how calls and puts work to confidently use them in your trades. Modules 2 and 3, we're going to teach you how to create those trades that have that 70% or better success rate. Now that's where a lot of option courses end. Okay? We go forward. In module 4, I'm going to show you how to find the best stocks and indexes to do this with. In module 5, I'm going to show you which of those stocks are the best option candidates and how to set your trade up. In module 6, I'm going to teach you the trade management. No more deer in the headlight. You're going to have a plan of attack for whatever that trade throws at you. And I will teach you proper portfolio sizing. Module 7, we're going to talk more about the broker. That way you go in there and you know what things to look for. I'm not going to be able to teach you every broker software out there, but you'll be able to look for key things that are universal in every broker platform so you know how to place these trades. And just in case you're worried that this is too much, I have a checklist that provides all this. So you'll be able to go down this checklist step by step by step, making sure that you're doing everything correct. Okay? It's like a security blanket. Now before we talk about the price of the course, let me make it even more low risk for you. I offer a money-back guarantee. If you take the course, don't feel that I've taught you a good income system, I'll give you your money back. It's as simple as that. I've done that for as long as I've taught the Paycheck course. Because I want you to feel comfortable that I'm going to teach you this and you are in a safe, I hate to say this, but you're in a safe place. I'm going to teach you this and I put my guarantee behind it, so it's no risk to you. Now the only thing I ask of you is this. You have to go through the course. Go through the course, watch the videos, watch the live presentations if you want, do the assignments, and if you're not satisfied, I will give you a refund. So there's a small catch to it. You do actually have to participate is the thing. If you do this course, listen, you can learn the system that generates on average 3% per month. That's 36% a year. And remember, it doesn't take a lot of time to do this every week. Okay? Now, a few months ago, I received an email from a client who actually took this course in the fall of 2019. He sent me an email on October 2020. Now, you guys all remember last year, and a lot of people had struggled with making money last year. Joe didn't. He took that class last fall, that would be in 2019, and he wanted to give me the results for his past 10 plus months. He said he keeps a journal, and he had profited on 239 trades out of the 350 that I've taken. Now, first and foremost, Joe trades way more than I do. I probably trade about 10 to 15 trades a month. Joe trades more than me, and that's fine. Like I said, you can scale this up if you want to do more trades. I tend to be a little bit more conservative. He's profited over $100,000 in that time. And he said what's more exciting is that since his knowledge and experience has grown, he's really hammered down and it only takes trades that have a better than 2-to-1 risk reward. He said his success rate since he's done that has been 78%. And over his last 100 trades. He wanted to thank me for teaching this simple but very effective system. Now think about it, right? If I had told Joe in the fall of 19, hey, give me $2,000 and I'll give you 100, he totally would take that trade, right? That's a great trade. But that's basically what he did. Now, before we go any farther, I want to point something out. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, right? It's not something where you should expect to become a millionaire in the next 24 hours. We don't teach home runs because home runs are not sustainable for income and profits. All right? It's not sustainable. It just doesn't work. All right? You want to know how you get rich? Play the lottery. That's not how you do it as an investor. All right? This is serious and it requires some effort. So if you can't commit to it, then don't do it. It's not for you. If you are willing to put in some work, 3 to 4 hours a week for the next 2 months, if you're serious, then the options paycheck is for you. You're going to get the entire course delivered live and via recording each week. So if you can't view our live schedule because of your working hours or what have you, not a big deal. I have everything recorded for you so you can do it via recording, still interacting with me and getting support that you need. Okay? That class has a value of $19.90. There's that $2,000 I mentioned. But I also have some bonuses for you. If you're worried that the trading itself, finding all these stocks, finding all these options on these individual stocks and trying to find all this, I have a trade for you also. It's called the SPX Paycheck. One trade type on one ticker symbol with one setup rule, one profit rule, one stop criteria. Okay? Simple and easy to do. My teammate Brian, who you're going to hear from soon, he taught his 14-year-old daughter how to do this trade, and she was able to do it. For many of my students, this is their primary income system, and it can generate 3% per month on its own. Now, in addition to the course, you're going to get 7 live mastery support sessions. What I do is each week I teach, all right, one module. At the end of the week, we all get together for a support session. You have any questions about it? You have any questions about the homework, the implementation? We all get together for an hour and we talk about it to make sure that you have all your questions answered. Sometimes they go an hour and a half because I like to talk. Okay. Now again, if you can't view the live, it's okay. I record it. Send me your questions. I'll make you a video of the recording. You guys can see it all. All right. We also have a private Facebook community. Now I know everybody likes Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg. I get that. Okay. I'll leave that to you. But you can always choose to be anonymous on Facebook. You're going to be put into a group of like-minded investors who are taking the Paycheck course. After the course ends, we invite you to our alumni forum, where all the people that have taken the Paycheck course over the last 6 years are members of. You'll still get to work with other people that do it. I also give you 12 months of live Q&A through the alumni forum. All right? Now here's the cool part. I run at VectorVest here a mentoring and coaching program for options. You are going to get access to my program. Remember that trade on Tesla and Goldman Sachs? I do those trades live with my students. Every trade that I take, I do in these classes. If I make money, you see it. If I lose money, you see it. If I repair a trade, you see it. I do this because I like to have disclosure. And I also like to do it because it keeps me on rule set. So during the 7-week course, I give you 7 weeks access to my coaching, where you can come in there and watch me find trades live. Now, that tool for speed and efficiency, I'm going to also include VectorVest 7 and Options Pro if you don't have a subscription to it. These to me are the best tools to find, select, and manage your option trades, and it really dramatically reduces the time you spend on finding. Now, access will start the first day of class. So as soon as the live portion of the class starts, we activate this for you. Big question is, Ron, do I need these 2 pieces of software to do the Paycheck? I'll answer it this way, no. But I also say, I hope during the 7 weeks you see how well these things work to get you the trades quicker, okay? That's not mandatory, but I would certainly encourage you to use tools that are built for this. Now, for those of you that are new to options, and you're a little bit worried, Ron, I've never traded options before, but I'm kind of interested. We put together what's called the Options Foundation course. This is a streaming class, and if you sign up for the course tonight, this will be activated basically tomorrow. You can start going through this foundation course to brush up on your options basics. All right? What's a call? What's a put? All the different things about options. That way, when the live curriculum starts, you can kind of hit the ground running. Now, 2 of my former students who took the foundation class had never traded options before. Shun on the left, he said he never did it before. He took the fundamentals course and he placed his first 7 option trades. He made 5 winners and 2 losers. Already paid for the class in full. Bobby said, hey, I made a real trade at the SPX, closed it, and paid half the fee course already. So that course alone will help you get started being a good options trader. So let me kind of wrap all this up for you, the whole package, if you will. You get the full Options Paycheck course delivered live or streaming, the SPX Paycheck bonus, the Mastery Support sessions, the weekly coaching and trade recommendations, access to the VectorVest Options Pro software, Facebook group with 12 months of Q&A, and that Options Foundation course. All that together, $1,600. But here's the opportunity in front of you. I'm going to roll up my sleeves and work with a couple hundred people who are serious about generating income. Now, if you choose to be one of them, we're going to create an income system in your portfolio, even if you've never had success with options. Now, you've spent about an hour with me today. So if you want to join me and have me take you by the hand and help you install this into your portfolio, then I'm not going to charge you $6,000. The early bird price for the course is $995. Okay? To register, you go to www.optionspaycheck.com. Now, before you get there, I'm going to give you one more bonus. Since you spent the last hour and like 15 minutes for me, I apologize for our 7-minute late start because of some technical glitches with GoToMeeting. But since you spent that hour and a little bit with me, I want to make it a little bit better for you. Instead of paying $995, I'll knock it down to $895. That way I'm paying you $100 for that last hour you spent with me. That means you're going to get the full course, 1 year access to all the materials, 7 mastery support sessions, the software, the SPX, the Facebook group, members only group coaching, foundation course. It's $895. You can go to optionspaycheck.com, click the big orange or gold register button, and get signed up. And I want you to ask yourself, what's it going to cost you not to do this? How much money will you lose by trial and error? How much profit are you going to miss out on by not getting this implemented now? How would your life be different if you did this and it worked? You know, there's an old saying that the best time to plant an oak tree is 20 years ago, so you can be sitting under it now. You know when the second best time is? Today. It's not too late to begin to prepare yourself for retirement and to learn how to generate income. This is going to be one of those deciding days. Is it the day you decide to take action and set yourself up? Or is it going to be the day you look back where you squandered a good opportunity to start that income stream? I hope you don't regret the decision. Remember, the pressure is all on me because I offer a refund policy. Don't miss this opportunity. I look forward to working with all of you in class. Again, go to www.optionspaycheck.com. There's like a big orange or like gold register button. That $895 price is only available while we're live on the webinar. That's the lowest price that we offer this course at. It's even lower than our elite pricing. The only way that you can get a lower price is if you've already taken the course before and you want to retake, and you can talk to us about that in the chat. Okay? www.optionspaycheck.com. And if you are signing up, do me a favor. Say, hey, Ron, I'm in. We'd love to welcome you to the class. And then also my colleague Brian's going to come in and he's going to talk about what to expect next. So, Brian, are you there? Whew. Yeah, big sigh of relief. I had some really strange problems getting this class started. I was really worried I wouldn't be able to hear you. Well, you know, remember how yesterday, was it this morning that we talked or yesterday that we talked? I was having problems with my headset. I bought a new headset. Here's the problem. New headset came at 6:20 tonight. So while I was waiting for responses, I ran out to my foyer, grabbed my headset, and plugged the new one in. So I'm using my new headset. Well, thank you. Thank you. Absolutely, good question. So here is the schedule for the live course modules. Now, we teach one module a week. Now listen, if you're a go-getter, all the modules are already out there, so you could realistically go through the course, all 7 modules in like 3 days, okay? But we teach the live portion week to week. So the first class, remember how I told you that if you do this, the software aligns itself with the first class? Thursday, August 5th is where we start the software, and that's also where I teach the first live session, Module 1. It's at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Now listen, if you can't make it, don't worry. Everything is out there recorded for you. We record everything pertinent that's live, so the Q&As, the masteries, we record all that stuff for you. It's out there. You can just watch the recordings. Now, for Module 2, you can kind of see how everything shifts to Tuesday. August 10th at 4:30 is Module 2, and then it continues at 4:30 on Tuesdays for the remainder of the course into September. Now, those live mastery sessions, the first one's actually on a Monday. It's August 9th, and in that mastery session, we discuss Module 1. On Tuesday the 10th, I do the formal presentation for Module 2, and then on that Friday, I do the mastery for Module 2. Those are at noon Eastern time. Again, don't worry about if you can't get there. I record those for you so you can watch them. And then every Friday into September is the remaining live mastery sessions. So that's our schedule for our live curriculum. Excellent. Love to hear that. The sessions average about an hour to an hour and a half. Some of them might go a little long. I know Module 4 might even switch into 2 hours. But what I tell people is this: give yourself about 3 to 4 hours a week to watch the modules, whether you watch the recording or the live presentation, and then the mastery session and kind of doing the homework and doing the assignments to implement. Give yourself 3 to 4 hours a week. But the average session is an hour to an hour and a half long. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Welcome back. That's a great question. Now, I will tell you this. From my experience, probably 85% of retirement accounts can do this type of trading. But every now and then, I come across one that doesn't allow it. So if you plan on doing this in your IRA, okay, I would call your broker first and say, hey, I want to do vertical credit spreads. What do I need to do? Now, in some cases, they just might have to have you sign a form or change the level of your trading account. Usually it's like a level 2 or a level 3. But there are some IRAs out there that will not allow it. But the majority of the ones that I've seen in the past will. So you just have to, like I said, you just have to kind of double check with your broker. Okay. Well, the majority of people, yes, I think you'll be able to trade on your own. I really think at the end of the course, the biggest hurdle that I've seen from clients, it's actually not the trading part, finding, selecting, putting the trades together. The biggest hurdle that I've seen from most of our clients is the broker side, where they're still kind of getting comfortable using the broker software. But I would say the vast majority of our clients by the end of Module 6 are ready to trade. I'm sorry, Brian, you cut off at the last part of that for some reason. Okay. Okay. No, all good. I extrapolated that's what the question was, but I wanted to make sure. I don't want to answer something weird, you know? But okay, so after the course is over, right, you may get all that nice Facebook group. You're invited to our alumni forum. Now, in that alumni forum, I do a monthly Q&A session, so to keep you on track. Now, also, you're going to be in there with a lot of other clients who have done this, so it's a lot of self-support with all of our clients. Now, the second thing is you're going to get an email address that goes right to the Paycheck team. You're going to be able to use that during the class to get a faster response, but you're still going to be able to use that after the course too. Okay? So after the course, I don't have a problem if you continue to reach out to me asking questions. You know, the only thing I tell you to do is if you're going to do that, just let me know that, hey, Ron, I've taken the Paycheck already. I have a question on this, because I do these classes like all the time, right? So I don't want to tell you, hey, wait till Module 5 and we'll discuss that. Just let me know when you've taken the class. I can say, hey, okay, here's what you need to do. So I am more than willing to constantly provide you support even after the class is over, whether it's via our alumni forum or it is, you know, via email. Mostly, yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. Mostly, here's the reason why most of the people take the class again. Mainly it's because they kind of get to reset themselves and they get back into the coaching, the monthly mentoring. And it's kind of just a good review every now and then of going back to the drawing board, if you will. Okay? Going back to the drawing board, if you will. So in a lot of ways, they like to retake it just for that reason alone.
All this up. So, Ron, how long until after the class does until somebody starts to see results?
Good question. It's going to be different for everybody. You know, I always say that the goal is to make 3% a month, but remember, that's kind of on average, right? Now, there are people, I've done this course for 6 years. There are people that because of the market conditions, maybe they get in when the market's a little bit more volatile, they don't see success in the first 30 days, okay? But you gotta remember, this is a marathon approach. So you gotta keep going at it. I would say the vast majority of the people that have successfully done this course, they should start seeing within the first 30 days some positive steps. Okay? Even if they get into it in a market that's not exactly perfect, within the first 30 days, they should definitely see some positive movement.
Fantastic. And several of you asked questions, and John and myself have been typing answers to in the chat. So please check your chat to see if we've answered you over there. And if you have joined the course and we did not call out your name, please just in the chat box, you can just say, I'm in. And Raj, welcome to the course. Great to have you. Be sure to check your email, because we would have sent you an email with all the directions there. All right. Jimmy, Ron and I can't see the list of people who have joined. You're saying, did you get my registration? We have no way to access that while we're doing the webinar, but you should have gotten an email. If you didn't get the email, I'd say just give our team a call tomorrow or later tonight, and they should be able to help you out with that. All right. Now, if you have a question and we missed it, I'm going to put a little flag on my screen. Give me just a second. Let me put a little flag on my screen. If you have a question and you're on the fence, either way, you're trying to decide whether it's for you or not for you, let us know in the chat. Just type in your question now. If you typed it in earlier and we missed it somehow, can you just copy and paste it into the chats? Because we don't want you to think that we're ignoring you. All right. Ali, I would say just call somebody now and see if they could help you out. We'll put our I almost forgot to do it again, Ron. Our phone number, it's 888-658-7638. I put our phone number into the chat for you. It's 888-658-7638. If you go to our website, you could also, if you're outside of the US and Canada, we have some toll-free numbers across the globe. You can just click on the Contact Us button and you'll get a toll-free number there. And Rand, welcome to the group. I just see you typed in Amin. Welcome. Great to have you on board. All right, so Ali, that was the answer to your question. And let's see. Sleek wants to know, Ron, during the course, do they receive option recommendations?
Yes. I mean, realistically, you will. That's 7 weeks of my online coaching and mentoring. You will see trades that I'm taking. Now, to be fair, I really hope that you don't take those trades because I don't want you panicking if a trade doesn't work out, if you're not quite ready to exit a trade, you don't know the broker side of it first. But you are going to see some real trades, yes, absolutely.
All right, and Dwight, you're asking, you think you've taken this course before. How do I get the lower rate? It's hard to forget, Dwight, that you've taken this course before. But you could just call our office or email our office and they'll let you know. If there's time, John in the background, he'll scramble and try and figure it out, but we've got a lot of questions we're trying to grab. Oh, Dwight, we would have sent you an email with the refresher rate link, but you could always call our office and say, hey, did I take that options paycheck course? And our team could let you know. Okay. And Terrence, I see you're having trouble creating an account on the web. Our phone number is 888-658-7638. 888-658-7638. It's also in the chat box. I'll put it directly to you. 888-658-7638. All right. Now, some of you are asking questions, and we are answering you still in the chat, so check out the chat for your answer. Penn, you say you signed up on your phone, but it did not confirm with you. It's a blank screen. That is odd, Penn, that happens. I would say also just, okay, you just typed in again that you got it. You got the confirmation email. Perfect. I was getting worried there that you did not get the confirmation screen. I'm glad it finally showed up. All right. So with that, I think what I'll do is, let's see. I'm going to pass it. I think that's it, Ron. I'm going to pass it over to you. I think John in the chat. John, if you could just, I think John O is asking a question. Can you give him the answer? And other than that, Mr. Wheeler, I will pass it over to you to wrap things up for the evening.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Brian. And thank you guys for sticking with me for so long. I appreciate that as well. And especially after we had that first 7 minutes where I thought I was talking to myself. So I appreciate you working with me through that with GoToMeetings weirdness, if you will. But first off, I want to say to all of you that signed up, welcome. I'm really going to be working with you a lot over the next 2 months. You're going to love the course, I promise you. It's going to be really the best options and trading course I think that you've taken. So I really stand behind that, and I've been doing this for a long time. So welcome aboard. I'm looking forward to working with you. For everybody else, I hope that, if you have any questions about it, you're not quite convinced, let me know, and we'll be more than happy to answer any of those questions for you by just giving us a call. But ultimately, I just want to say again, thank you. Have a great evening, everybody. I hope your year is successful here as we navigate these high volatility markets that we've had, and wish you all the best of success. So thanks again on behalf of our team. We will see you next month in the Options Paycheck. Take care, everybody.